Welcome to the Prehocracy Show, the show before the show that you watch after the show.
And the show that David Landeen is referring to is the Adhocracy Show, the show for your source of advertising, marketing, art, and design. That was amazing.
That was so good.
That was the crowd going wild, or me just heavily breathing. That was a little bit awkward. I apologize. I ruined the moment.
It's okay. That's why this is the Prehocracy Show and not the Adhocracy Show.
Yeah. So the Prehocracy Show, what we do, we like to kind of talk and get used to talking in front of the camera so that when we get to the show, we'll be nice and warmed up.
Yep. So that's why this is going to be, sometimes we have those weird moments and you can't think of words and stuff like that. Just demonstrated. Okay. If you haven't been following us on the Prehocracy,
shame on you.
Yes, you should be, because it's awesome. We have been going through the 36 love questions that are scientifically proven to make people fall in love. And our thought was, well, if it can make these two people fall in love, it should make you fall in love with us.
Yeah.
Because science.
Because science.
Science.
Because science.
And so we have been going through this, and we would like to announce today,
we are hitting the 36th question. We have gone through all of them.
Now, there's a very good chance that some of them got skipped because there are some times where
they kind of repeated in certain ways, and
like say something you like about somebody.
Okay,
say something you like. Now say something you really like about them.
Now really mean it.
No, don't lie this time.
We opened up right at the beginning on that.
I know. We were like, we got this, no problem.
That was a really feel good moment. Like I went home just like,
yeah. Your little self-esteem box full to the brim.
Oh man, it was overflowing.
That was good. It was good. So, number 36, here it comes. The final question. Well, the final of the 36 questions. Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. And ask your partner to reflect back to you how you seem to be feeling about the problem you have chosen. So, talk about personal problems.
Personal problems. Okay.
I have this YouTube channel. And it's terrible. And I have to work with this guy. No, I'm just kidding.
Now we get to the feel bads.
Personal problem.
Okay, I kind of have one for you.
Oh, okay.
So I sort of have this problem, and it's one of, okay, I am in up to my ears in the creative world, right?
Mm-hmm.
This show, my work, my freelance, like I am inundated with creativity. Quite a while ago, I was in a group and we were talking about work, work versus relaxation versus rest.
Okay.
And how all three of those things are important.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I am someone who works a lot. I do a lot of working. My rest, I don't sleep very well. That's its own thing.
Okay.
The relaxation side of things, the thing that got brought up, he was another graphic designer, and he talked about how he had a moment in his life where he got burnt out on creativity and design. Everything he read, everything he did, everything that he involved himself, his hobbies, his interests, everything was design, and so he kind of got burnt out on it, right?
Okay.
And so he realized this, and with his spouse, they looked to find a hobby that was completely unrelated and didn't connect to it, so that when they did it, like, it was refreshing to come back. Something completely. They took up archery, and I was just like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool.
Archery is a good hobby.
And now I've thought about that a lot because, again, with all of my work with being inundated, I don't necessarily get fully burnt out, but I think because I have so much creativity and I have to work so much in that realm that not that I procrastinate, but it's kind of like I'm full of creativity. Yeah. And so I've been thinking, I've been trying to find a hobby.
You need a hobby.
But it also
But it can't be creative. It can't be like, you don't want a hobby like pottery.
No, because that would be, I mean, one, like getting into it and it is, and sort of creative, like again, creating, I do a lot of creating, but
like you don't want to like take up painting, oil painting. That would be a great
I definitely
hobby.
want to, I definitely want to,
but that wouldn't solve your problem. That wouldn't be a solution.
I mean, that might be it, because, you know, it's a hobby and it's something that I love. And so it may be that I don't necessarily need something that's not creative.
But just need something. You need an outlet.
Yeah,
that's not going to add to you have to be more creative.
Yeah, and maybe the problem maybe isn't exactly what I'm focusing on, but the problem is I'm full of creativity, and so when it comes to time, and I mean, I'm constantly busy, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Whether it's freelance, whether it's work, whether it's the business. We've talked about my wife's business in past episodes. Go back and check those out. So we're constantly busy, and then like my daughter, which on our Father's Day episode, we had our daughters on. They're adorable.
You need to go watch that.
Absolutely. You know, I spent a lot of time with them, but then like at the end of the day, I'm just burnt out. So a lot of it is just like, sometimes the motivation isn't there, not because I don't want to, but I'm full. And so that's the problem. Like,
so how do I
keep going? How do I, do I need like another hobby? That's my problem. That's
so there's on one end, I would say look for ways of simplifying. Look for ways of, because it's one of those that not necessarily adding a hobby, but taking away an unnecessary good.
Okay.
Like maybe
like I've got a lot of good, but
I don't
need as many good.
Yeah, they're all important, but kind of a prioritize and look at. I mean, for me, because I was very similar, and TV was my outlet. It was like I could just relax and watch TV, but I always felt it didn't really help me, because afterwards I just feel like such a lazy bum for just sitting there and watching TV.
And I have that same issue where, that's how we relax, and my wife and I watch a lot of TV, but at the same time it's like you watch TV and you're like,
so maybe the solution is replacing TV with a hobby. So because you can't really add, I mean, you're full to the brim when it comes to time.
Yeah.
So you have to replace something. And when I gave up TV, like it's helped me a ton to feel more fulfilled, because the hobby I replaced it with was the YouTube channel. And so, but I feel better when I work on the YouTube channel rather than watch TV. So that may be an option. Possible hobbies that come to mind.
I'm excited for this.
Cycling.
Okay.
Get some bikes and just go put like a little baby seat on there and just go out riding.
Be cool.
I think that'd be. I mean, especially with summer here, I think that could be a great one.
And I might be able to get into that a little bit better than running.
Yeah.
We've talked about running before and how I.
Yeah, and you could even like do something where like we're going to ride to the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And then ride, or something. We're just going out on a ride, and because it gets you outside, it gets you away from. And as much as weird as it is that, riding a bicycle is relaxing, you definitely come back feeling like ready to go and ready to get going. I always feel that way after my runs. It's like, all right, I'm ready. I feel productive. I did something great. Now I can sit around and work on other stuff for the rest of the day. So that would be good. Something like archery, or something that's like way out of like.
I've thought about like rock climbing, but
rock climbing. That's or even like bouldering. That's rock climbing without the heights. So if you're afraid of heights, then it's more technique.
Okay.
But maybe not something. These are both been active hobbies. Maybe you need something that's less of an active hobby and more of a relaxing hobby. You could do
especially like family time, doing something that like doing something together rather than watching TV, right? Mm-hmm. So creating that moment.
Well, or even like what we're gonna be doing today, a challenge with your family, like doing something as a family, rather than sitting like taking this is family time. We're gonna go out and we're gonna do something as a family. We're gonna go to the park and kick the ball around. We're gonna go out, because I think definitely unstructured family time can definitely be a relaxing thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be my 3 suggestions.
Reflect back to you how you seem to be feeling about. Let's see. Ask your partner to reflect back to you about how I seem to be feeling about this problem I've chosen.
I mean, you seem to have it under great control.
Okay.
You seem to really know this problem and understand it, and I mean, you've already somewhat come up with some solutions, so it doesn't seem to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, you've thought it out quite well, and so
Which we've talked about. I'm a thinker.
Yeah.
I analyze and overanalyze, and now I just have to do, right?
yeah,
That's
so
my
that's
problem.
what it comes down to.
Okay, what is your personal problem?
Okay,
Tell me what you would like to see.
let's see.
What is your problems that you are seeing? Tell me about your mother.
That was back in another question. We already covered that.
It really was.
I guess my problem is somewhat of an feeling unfulfilled. Like I have this regret that I'm going to get, 10, 20 years in the future and be exactly where I am now.
Okay.
And look back and be like, I mean, okay, so I have friends from high school, a doctor, a owner of a business, a lawyer, these very, I think they few of them have master's degree. I mean, obviously one has a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
They have gone on to do amazing things, and I feel, I compare myself to everybody, but I feel like I'm not ambitious. I'm not like the ambitious person that...
I'm not ambitious, but I have run marathons.
That only takes a few
I have
hours.
started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I have gone to school and completed.
Well, I know, and I mean, as much as, but it's not necessarily like I feel like what I'm doing now, but I worry that
nothing will
change.
Okay.
That will, few years down the road, I'll be working in the same job. I'll be living in the. I mean, not that the job I have. It's like one of the things like I just don't want to stay static. I don't want to become. I can't think of the word. Like irrelevant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Wonderful problem. Because it's one that I know very familiarly. But not something that for me ends up being an issue. Because I definitely get it. I have friends who they've got MBAs. They've got comparing yourself to others in any way, shape, or form is devastating, right? Like it does you no good.
Yeah.
They have a different situation, they have different things. I think everyone, no matter who you are, look at someone else and be like, the grass is greener kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
That grass looks greener, but when you get over to that side of the grass, you're like, oh, there's a dead spot, and there, someone may be looking at you and being like, oh man, I wish I could be more creative. I wish I could, be doing more film. I'm having to be an accountant, and I'm having to go to court all day, and so at least from my perspective, it is a thing of perspective. One, worrying about what the future is going to bring. Like if you look at anyone, your path sort of gets forged whether you like it or not. And so that is sort of a challenge to be like, okay, forge your own path. Take what you want to, not comparing to others. Even though it's hard, and knowing, being more like good for them rather than why do they have and I don't have.
Oh no, yeah, I totally understand.
Because you can also go the other way. Like I have a friend who has done everything right in his life, and they've kind of got the bum deal of the.
Oh, I definitely I think good for them. Like great. Yeah. I more think of. Why didn't I have that ambition to go do that? But the choices that I made, are those okay? Was that the right, And when then that leads to, well, if I look back on my life that far and see that other people have progressed further than me because of the choices I made, is that pattern going to continue? I'm gonna get to retirement age and to be like, well. Kind of the "It's a Wonderful Life" type thing.
Yeah.
Like
Mary.
What do you know about that?
What do you know about that? Yeah. I mean, again, you can.
So how do you get that perspective? I guess that's the question. How do you get that perspective?
I think definitely one, going after your own goals and the things that you want to like like not just being like, oh, I wish I could be like saying, like writing down your goal, making steps. We've talked about that before, but looking towards what you've done or what you've got going on. I mean, if you were to look at your life, like step back and look at the whole picture of how it fits in what's relevant, what's not, you know, is the problem that you're having right now, is that, you know, how does that affect, you know, are you going toward your goals, or are you worrying about it? I mean, you've gone to Africa several times and done some cool, like, I want to go to Africa. It's a cool place. Never done it. The marathons that you've been able to run and hit, like, there are so many things about you that, you know, are fantastic. And so, I mean, I definitely have to fight the whole comparison thing, because especially as artists, I think,
well, you're always looking at your work and
and you're looking at these people who I've got a friend who's going through a doctor, and he is sacrificing a lot to become a doctor, but I'm also enjoying everything I do. And the other thing that I've always thought about is creative people don't retire. You can't turn off. Like
creativity.
Like when I'm done working, I'm not going to be done working. Like I'm always still going to be creative and be like, oh, I want to create. And if I don't create, that itch kind of
that's why you need that hobby, so you can.
So definitely a thing of perspective, and you know, you're going to become in what you want, or you're going to become more than you are now, regardless of your choosing it, because that's life, right?
Yep.
You look at people who had no clue what their lives want to be. I mean, no one knows. No one knows, you know, they want to be a lawyer, but after they become a lawyer, what's next, right?
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's my perspective.
How reflect back to me.
How are you feeling?
How I seem to be feeling about the problem I have chosen.
I know, at least from all of the stuff that we've talked about and you, that this is definitely something that worries you. It's probably deep seated, and I can feel the emotion behind it. And you probably, it seems like you give it a lot of power and gravity, right?
It does. It takes way too much.
And I think you are giving it that power and gravity, and that's why it's heavier than it really is. So the more power and gravity and attention you give that, the more it's probably going to weigh on you.
Okay, wow.
FYI.
That's
Yeah, I have a looser style, and that's one thing that was interesting of watching you. You know, I usually block out things a lot quicker.